All right, here's a little review for the test, and let's get my right marker here. Let's do number 1 first. It says find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon, right? Or in this one, they say an octagonal box. That's a weird way of saying it, but what is that? Octagonal. It's 8 sides. That's right. So we want to find the sum of all the interior angles of an 8-sided figure. Well, we have a formula for that, don't we? And good. It's n minus 2 times 180. All right, and that's something you have to memorize, okay? Don't go into this test tomorrow not knowing this thing. This is really important. So n minus 2. N means the number of sides. So we have 8 sides. So it's 8 minus 2 times 180. Now look, I'm showing every little step here. You wouldn't have to go through all of this. You could just looked at the 8 sides, right, and gone 6, couldn't you? All right, without writing all that down. That would have been fine. 6 times 180, and that's 1080. So what did we just find right there? We found out what all the angles are added together, all right, on an 8-sided polygon. Everybody got that? And make sure you know the words, okay? Because if I said hexagon, how many sides would a hexagon be? 6. And what about a pentagon? What would that be? It'd be 5, right? Okay. What if I said a decagon? How many sides is that? That's 10. Okay. So know those words. We've talked about those words earlier in the chapter. Let's jump down to number 3. Again, I'm just trying to pick and choose ones that I remember that are on the test, okay? Or ones that are like it. Might not be exactly, but they're like it. It says if the measure of the interior angle of a regular polygon is 171 degrees. Now, I want to visualize this a little bit. It says the interior angle of a polygon, of a regular polygon, is 171 degrees. So this is just a little cross section of my polygon. I don't know how many sides it has. It's going to have a whole bunch of sides going around like this. But I just did 2 sides, okay? And that makes the angle. It's 171 degrees. So that's the interior angle of my polygon. I want to find out how many sides does this thing have. If it's a regular polygon, all the angles are equal, all the sides are equal, then how many sides does this thing have? That's all I have to know is that interior angle. A couple ways to do this, but we talked about what I thought was the easiest way to do it. What I do is I figure out what the exterior angle is, and I'll show you why in a second. What would the exterior angle be if this interior was 171? It'd be 9 degrees, wouldn't it? How'd you get that? 180 minus 171, right, which is 9 degrees. So that means this angle right there is 9 degrees. Why do I care what the exterior angle is to this thing? Very good. That's the key number right there. Because he said all these exterior angles, I don't know how many there are, but all the exterior angles add up to 360 degrees. And if each one is 9 degrees, how do I figure out how many angles are there? I take the 360 and I do what to it? I divide it by 9 degrees. Everybody see that? Because there's 360 altogether, right? It doesn't matter how many sides you have. Okay, I know all the exterior angles add up to 360. Divide it by 9, and I get, what's that? 40. 40 what? What's that answer? 40 what? 40 sides. That's right. That's exactly right. That means there's 40 exterior angles, and if there's 40 exterior angles, there must be 40 sides. Correct? That's all there is. Picture's helpful, don't you think? I think it's very helpful, okay, because it tells me the interior angle, gets me thinking a little bit. Okay, if I knew the interior angle, how in the world could I find out how many sides I have? Well, go to the exterior. I think that's really important to think about the exterior angle, because then I can use this number 360 divided by 9, and that I got 40 sides. All right, let's move on. Different color here. Let's see. Let's do 5. I didn't do this in the other class, so we'll do this one here. It says find the measure of each exterior angle of a regular 45-gon. That means there's 45 sides. And I want to find, and it's a regular polygon. I want to find each exterior angle. Shouldn't be that hard at all. Now remember, we're trying to find the exterior angles, aren't we? And I know this time how many sides I have. This is not my degrees. This is not my angles. This tells me how many sides I have. So I want to find each one of them. Now remember, it's a regular polygon, so all the angles are equal to each other, right? All the angles are equal. So what do you think I'm going to do to find each exterior angle? Remember, I'm trying to find each outside angle, right? Let's do a little blow-up version of that. There's 45 sides. There's a whole bunch of sides. Am I going to sit here and draw 45 of these things all the way around? No, that'd be ridiculous. But I can do this. I want to find this angle right there. I want to find each exterior angle. And I know I have 45 sides, so Lauren, tell me, what am I going to do? 360. You got it. So it's 360 degrees. I know all 45 of these angles add up to 360 degrees, don't I? So I take 360 and I divide it by 45, and I get whatever that is. I don't know, 8. Okay, let me just do it. Oops. 360 divided by 45. And there you go. 8 sides. All right. I'm sorry. Not 8 sides, but 8 what? 8 degrees, because I just found that angle right there is 8 degrees. What if I wanted to find the interior? They don't ask you this on the worksheet, but what if I asked you? What if I asked you to find the interior angle? If this is 8 degrees, what's this going to be right here? 172, right? We got that by 180 minus 8, which is 172. Everybody see that? Because the exterior and the interior add up to 180, right? They make a nice straight line there, don't they? Yes? We all paying attention? Okay. All right, that's that. If you need to see it again, it's recorded, so you can always go back to it. All right, let's see what else we want to do. Let's do 6. I didn't do 6 in the other class. So if there's a few that we didn't hit, you could always go to the 3rd period YouTube video, watch that, okay? Because I am hitting a couple problems that we did not do in the 1st period class. Let's see, what am I doing? 6? In parallelogram ABCD. Well, let's draw this thing out. It might be helpful just to kind of visualize what's going on. So they don't draw it for you, do they? I want to shear. There we go. ABCD. ABCD. And it says angle A is 58 degrees. That's 58 degrees. Find angle B. So look at this one right here. What's the relationship? Now, I probably didn't draw this to scale because that looks obtuse, doesn't it? I made it 58 degrees, but that's okay. I could have made this A, B, C, D, right? But it doesn't really matter because I know that A and B are next to each other. So what's true about the 2 angles that are next to each other, or consecutive angles on a parallelogram? What are they? Say it. They're supplementary. Very good. If they're supplementary, what do we do to them? Take it away from 180. That's right. So that's a 2, and that's a 2, and that's a 1. Is that right? So that would be 122. Now I know this is an acute angle, and there's no way that's 122, but if you would have labeled it a little differently, if I would have made this A and this B, then it would look a little bit better, but it still works out there, doesn't it? The only reason I really needed the picture is just to make sure that I saw that A and B were next to each other. What about D? What if I asked you to find angle D? What would angle D be equal to? Everybody look at it. Without doing any math at all, you should just be able to look at it. Yeah, exactly. It's 122. Because opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal, aren't they? Without doing any math whatsoever, what's angle C? 58. Same reason. Everybody got it? You only had to do math once, didn't you? To find this one. And then you could find this one, then you could find this one just knowing what's true about a parallelogram. Alright? Good deal. Let's do number 11. We didn't do number 11 in the other class either. No wonder I didn't take long. I skipped a whole bunch of them. Let's go to this color. So, number 11. I got a rectangle. Let's draw the thing. Let's draw this diagonal right here. Yeah, we don't really need the other diagonal for this problem, so I'll just leave it like that. And they tell you that this angle right here is 2x plus 10. And they tell you this angle right here is 3x minus 30. They do say it's a rectangle, so this whole thing is a rectangle. and they ask you just to solve for x. Okay? So what do we do? Do we just set them equal to each other? That's what a lot of people have a tendency to do. I kind of got on the other class. In fact, there was a girl in the other class that, remember I told you that? I said that she said, oh, I just set them equal to each other every time. I don't even look to see. I just set them equal to each other. Well, if you did that on this problem right here, would you be right? No, you wouldn't. Because what's true about this angle and this angle? They're not equal to each other if this is a rectangle. If it was a rhombus, they'd be equal to each other. If it was a rectangle, they'd be equal to each other. But say it, Johnny, it's equal to 90 degrees, right? These two right here add up to 90 degrees. And that's what you have to do. That's your math. Don't set them equal to each other. So this one plus this one, the two angles add up to 90 degrees because they're complementary, right? We don't use that word as much as supplementary, but they are complementary. They add up to 90 degrees. And now you can just solve for x. So don't be too quick just to set things equal to each other. Now, I'll tell you the truth. There's a lot of times when you will set things to equal each other. And if you look at it and you're just confounded, right? You look at it and you're like, I have no idea what to do. You know what a good guess would be? To set them equal to each other, all right? Does that mean it's going to work every single time? No. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But at least it's worth a shot, wouldn't you agree? But it would be better, though, if you knew when to set them equal and when to add them up and set them equal to something else, all right? In this case, you add them up, set them equal to 90 because they form a 90-degree angle. Let's do this real quick. 3x plus 2x is 5x. Negative 30 plus 10 is negative 20 equals 90. Add a 20. So 5x equals, what's that, 110? Is that right? And then divide by 5, and that's, what is it, 22? Yeah? X is 22. That's all they ask for. Now, what if they ask for this? What if they asked for angle ACB? Now, they don't in this worksheet, but what if they did? What if they said, what is angle ABC? No, I'm sorry, not ABC. What did I say? ACB. What is angle ACB equal to? That's this one right there. That's ACB. That's not 90. That is not 90. This one right here is what? It's 2x plus 10. Well, we just found x, didn't we? So what's 2 times x, or 2 times 22? 44. Plus 10 is 54. So this angle right here would be 54 degrees. I very well could ask you to do something like that. So again, don't be so quick just to set things equal to each other and just say x equals whatever. You can't just do that. You got to make sure that you know the relationship between the angles and what they're asking for. Sometimes they just say solve for x. In this problem on the worksheet, they did. They just said solve for x. But there are questions where you're going to have to plug it back in, all right, and solve for something else. Everybody with me on that? All right. I'll tell you what, I think we've covered quite a bit. There are a few problems that we didn't cover today, but it is on the third period one, all right? So go to YouTube, go to the third period class, and you can watch a few more of these problems. You don't have to watch the whole thing, because a few of these I did in the other class. Okay, but if you skip like towards the end or like the second half or like the last last quarter of it, there's a couple problems that you may want to look at. All right? So the test is tomorrow, remember that, and the homeworks. I'm collecting 2 homeworks tomorrow. One is that practice test from the book, and the other is this worksheet right here that we just went over, okay? So I want you to hang on to them both. Use them. Study from them, okay? Do some problems. That's how you study for a math test and geometry test. You take old problems and you do them. Do them over and over again. Find some new problems in the book, right? Most of the stuff in the book we didn't do, right? We've done all worksheets. So you can always go to a problem in the book and work them until you know how to do all this stuff. All right? Please be ready for it. I'm really expecting good grades. But you can't just sit there and say, well, he thinks we're going to do well, so I'm just going to show up and take it. Don't just show up and take it. Be prepared for it. Be prepared for this test tomorrow. Okay, this is the last week of the marking period. This will be the 3rd test. Even if you've done pretty well, one test can really make a big difference. Okay, and if you did poorly before today, this is your big chance to make up for it. All right, so make sure that you do well. Be prepared, and be ready to take the test tomorrow.